That was everyone. Hi, Waylon. This is your lesson. Enjoy.
Hi,
So, students will be able to. He does. I have a puzzle video that shows me if he's watched it. He could probably mute me, and then he wouldn't hear you at all. Waylon, if you're listening to this, if you mute this video, bad things will happen. Solve equations. That is true. Waylon, you're invited to the smoothie bar. It's going to be the last week of school. Details to follow. Bring a fruit or ice cream of your choice. Solve equations. Shortcut. Yeah. Okay. First thing I want you to look at is there's a scale, and you have fruits. What's that? Starting today for the next 5 days, we're going to be just reviewing a lot and also adding some things to your toolkit that you can use on the cast. Today is one of those days we're going to add something that we haven't used before, and it's a shortcut you may have to use in the future. Josh, thanks. If you know that the pineapple weighs 10 pounds, how much does each banana weigh? Turn and talk to your partner. Go. How do you know? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Colby, how do you know how much each banana weighs?
So, each of the apples, I'm assuming, weigh the same, about the same. So we cross those out; they don't matter to our equation. And that only leaves the pineapple and our bananas. And since the pineapple and the banana are both equal on the scale, they both weigh 10.
So our big idea today is we're going to look for anything that's the same. And if there's something that's the same on either side of an equation, you have permission to cross it off. At whiteboard practice today, you guys are going to see why you might do that on CASP, because there's going to be some pretty gnarly problems where you'll have to use that strategy on Tuesday. But let's start off pretty simple. 3x plus 7 equals 12 plus 7. So far, I'm going to give you guys one that's not a shortcut. You guys can do this in 10 seconds, but I don't want you to use the shortcut on this one because we're going to show you that you can do it the way you've been practicing. It's just a little longer. First step is to subtract by 7. That's step number 1. You get 3x equals 12. Second step is to divide by 3. You get x equals 4. That's your 2-step process. You guys have been pretty good at solving equations this year. Here's a shortcut though. If I know there's a 7 on both sides, you can cross it out. Board of paper, Wyatt. So there's a 7 on the left side. It's positive. There's a positive 7 on the right side. I can cross it out and you get 3x equals 12. That's step number 1. And that's a lot shorter. Not only is it a lot shorter, but there is a reason you might want to do that, and you'll see that on whiteboards in about 20 minutes. Yeah? Because I want you to have notes to look back on if you want to see that this is the process. I'm also more concerned about the process than the answer. So these first 4 problems will be pretty simplistic. It'll then get a little harder for silver and for whiteboards. But
It's pretty similar, with y to extra species, elimination.
It's similar to solving x, I guess, if you want to do that with an equation. Y equals mx plus b is a little different because it's a linear equation, not just an equation. Example 2. This one is slightly different. There's distributive property. Tony.
You divide by 4 instead of multiply it. Would you divide the other side of it?
I'm not going to divide by 4 because I want to show you something that happens. But you could. I'm just not going to go that route today. When you multiply by 4, Sarah, you get 100 plus 8. Mackenzie, what can you cross out? That leaves you 20x equals 100. Dallin, what do I do next? And Wyatt, what's the answer? Okay, so far that was one step, and we got our answer. Easier than just subtracting by 8. Kind of like mental math, you guys mentioned it in your head. This example is a little harder. 2 distributive property things going on. Colby.
Wouldn't it be 0 equals 0?
So let's see, 5x plus 10 equals 5x plus 10. When you get these two, you're going to notice you can cancel everything out, and you get 0 equals 0. When you have two things that are the same, the answer is going to say x is 0. The real answer is no solution. I made a blunder when I made the answer key. So 0 equals 0, two of the same numbers is no solution.
Well, wouldn't that be infinite
Oh, you're correct. Blunder. More blunders. That's infinite. Thanks, Elliot. Abby, can you mark it? Okay. You got 10 minutes before we get a blast from the past. You actually probably only need about 5 minutes. When you're done with 1 through 9, grab a homework page. Go. Not for this one. For the next round, I might. Yeah, you can find a partner if you're solo.
I got it. Yeah.
Seven is easy. What do you mean? You can't do 5? 12 by 5. Yes, you can. Oh, yeah, you can. Okay. Multiply everything by 12. Isn't that when you include 8 into that?
What's that?
Number 8, multiply everything by 12.
No, I wouldn't do that for 8. I would multiply everything by x at first.
What? Does it have to be?
The x has to be on the top, so you're gonna have to find x on the top first.
The school calendar I can look at.
Not with me.
Is it,
So it won't. So you'll have a fraction. Yeah.
anyone have a school calendar?
Get a homework. You can start on it.
No, he said there would be a fraction though.
Do the rest
Do
real
I
quick.
have to do a fraction or can I do a
Yeah.
decimal?
If you have fractions in the problem, you should have a fraction for an answer.
But there's
Can I go
no
to the restroom
fraction
real quick?
in the
What?
problem.
Can I go to the restroom real
It's
quick?
for
Yeah.
7.
Number 7, it
Can I do
can.
this? Do I have to?
No, just put it as a fraction.
Yeah, and then 12 over 5. How do you do it? By accidentally everything by x did. Alright, so pretend that x is how much you need to get. So for 8, you need to over x. For 8, if the answer is 2, but x needs to be for 12 to make it 7. Also, the answer says 7. No.
The freak.
Yeah.
For 6, it says that x equals 1, but I keep getting x equals x.
Yeah, that should be it. It should be infinite solution. So 6 is also wrong.
Yep.
Oh, okay, thank you. Wait, what? What other one was wrong?
6 and number 3 on the example.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, you gotta show work.
Why? Yeah, that's no. Don't touch with signs. I knew you were up to something, and I caught you. What?
I have no argument against that.
Yeah.
So let's plan a smoothie date.
We
So
will.
I could bring in a table. I'll go right here. So I would need someone to help cut fruit.
Let's plan in like 3 weeks, okay?
Okay.
Coming out recess. When it gets like a week away from June, we can plan it, and then a week from the smoothie party, we'll release the info to the team, and they can
Can I
bring
bring
in
a
stuff
knife?
for the smoothies. I just need to find a freezer, but I think I can use
Yeah,
the
can I
stuff.
bring a knife?
Okay,
well,
we'll talk about it.
reword that.
Go sit down.
What's a
So go back to your desk if you're not there. Colby, I'm okay with you saying that because we're gonna roll right into the other ones in just a minute. Let's look at number 8. Huddle up on that one if you're not there. Go to 8. If you're past 8, backtrack so you can look at your work. I can cancel the 9s, leaving 12 over x equals 6. From this point, what do I have to do on both sides? Sarah? When you have x on the bottom, you have to get it in the numerator. And multiplying by x will cancel it on the bottom and get it to the top. Jackson, what do I do next? Okay, what next? Okay, so x for number 8 should be equal to 2. That one was trickier. Make sure it's on your paper. A lot of us got 1/2, Vienna. Is that what you got?
I didn't do it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In math, how are you allowed to like add your own things? Like in real life, you can just add another x.
Yeah, good question. When we're dealing with equivalent expressions, we're gonna look at this actually the next 4 days. We're gonna focus on equivalent expressions, meaning the same. If you have an equal sign, you can do the same thing to both sides, and that's algebraically that's legal. You could multiply everything by 100, and that'd be fine. If you had like two like sides of the scale, and you added 10 pounds to each, they'd still be the same. They'd be equal. So in math, it's just a cool skill that you could have in your back pocket to add anything you want to. As long as you do it to one side, you can do it to the other side.
But like we used like multiply these random numbers just to get the answer, and in real life, what if you didn't have 100?
In real life, you have like a scale. That's what I was talking about. Is the scale is correct, and I'm gonna move on. Yeah, sure. Next page. Blast from the past. We have one example. I'm going to give you the example, and then we'll roll out the rest of these. I think you should be able to find them on your own. Sometimes you'll be given an equation that doesn't look like things we did today. You don't have a 15 on either side. You don't have anything that matches on either side. So you need to solve this just like a regular equation. If a 1/4 is outside parentheses, you do what to it the whole class? Multiply. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x. 1/4 times negative 32 is going to be what? Sarah? You got it. You're left with an equation that looks like this, and we can start solving. Vienna, what would I do to both sides? What would I do to both sides? Correct, that's a blunder. Mark it, Abby. Add the 8. Add the 8. 1/4 x equals 23. How do I get the x by itself? Kylie. take the reciprocal if there's a fraction in front and multiply both sides. That cancels, leaving an x on the left. 23 times 4 is, Elliot,
92.
92?
Yes.
Okay.
How many blunders did you just
Question, Tony? This was 1 over 4 times... Oh, right here. This was distributive. So I was doing 1/4 times 32. Yeah, that was this step over there. So sometimes there will not be anything you can eliminate from both sides, and in that case, just solve it like an equation.